Welcome back to Pete's Dugout. This is episode number 8 of my Coventry City career mode, and we kick things off today with a reminder of our poor 3-3 draw at home to bottom half Blackpool. But we do remain top of the table in November with 16 games played and a 4-point gap at the top. My mini goal heading into December is to build on that gap and have at least 6 points on the team to below us as we get closer to the January transfer window. But to do that, we need to start winning some games comfortably, and we need to get on top of our defensive struggles. 49 goals scored sounds fantastic, but we've also conceded 24 goals in 16 games, and that's just not good enough for a team hunting promotion. So we've got some tough games to get through today, and first up we have Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough, currently sitting 16th in the league table, and I had to show you this. Chuba Akpom has traded in Teesside for the Algarve, and that's a huge bonus for us. So going into today's game, it's 22 goals in 16 games for Championship top scorer Gyökeres, and I've got to be honest, I'm absolutely terrified for January to roll around. This series is built on realism, of course, and if a Premier League team comes in with a big bid, I'm going to have a hard time standing in his way. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, and for now, he's ours and he's scoring at will. So as we get underway here, I did want to mention how cool it is that Michael Carrick's doing such a good job with Borough. You know, we've recently had some really good retired players struggling to manage in top flight football with Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, and even Scott Parker to an extent, but both Carrick and Vincent Kompany are doing really good jobs in the Championship at the moment, and I think that's really the way forward. You know, take your lumps, get your experience, and work progressively towards the Premier League. But anyway, it had been a really lively start with both keepers making smart saves to keep the score at 0-0. But as Gyökeres plays target man from the ball over the top, he lays it off to Blackburn, who crosses, and Stefan has had an absolute howler. The diving header across goal somehow gets past the on-loan Man City goalkeeper, and that is an absolute shocker. Fingers crossed I haven't jinxed this, but it's been a long time now since Ron had made any big mistakes, and actually, he's been in solid form of late as Hamer speeds forward, and his Trivela shot is saved by the Borough keeper this time. But after the first corner is headed behind by the defenders, we whip the second corner in with Hamer, and Gyökeres out-jumps everybody for a free header to make it 2-0. That's his second of the game, and if I lose him, whether it's through injury or through a January sale to a top club, I am absolutely done for. So that takes us up to half-time with the Sky Blues leading 2-0 at the Riverside Stadium. Job half done, but I'm not counting my chickens just yet because I really want that clean sheet. But we start the second half action with a fantastic interception from Sheaf, and he's become a bit of an unsung hero for us this season. He doesn't get involved with many goals or assists, but the amount of times he's broken up play or got stuck in with a big tackle is crazy. I wish his stamina was a little bit better in game, but he's been huge for us defensively, and he's definitely a fan favourite as Gyökeres blasts the resulting chance over from a tight angle. But as Borough get the ball forward for quite literally the first time in the second half, our clean sheet is gone as Ronin is beaten at his near post. I'm gutted as we dealt with everything thrown at us up to now, and I knew momentum was going to shift in their direction. So I made one sub just after the goal with Allen coming on for Sheaf, again due to fatigue, and thus begun an absolute onslaught of corners from Borough. I've used the term before and it had become all too familiar as we had all hands on deck defending the first corner, with the header eventually poured behind by Ronin. The second corner is swung in by Watmore, the ball makes its way to Moa, and again Ronin is equal to it and pushes it behind for a third corner in a row. Borough just kept on knocking at the door though, and the final corner is swung in to Watmore, who gets his head to it, and Ronin reacts so quickly to tip the ball over his bar, and we would eventually clear the fourth corner. I was so thankful to hear the final whistle in this one as Borough peppered our box with cross after cross in the second half, and Ronin came up huge for us. That's a massive 3 points, and as we get back to the office, we find out that if we win our game in hands, we will be a minimum of 6 points clear. I really wish they would stop posting Gyökeres in the world news, because we really don't want any clubs knowing how well he's playing, thank you. I'll have Ancelotti on the phone soon, the way this is going. But next up we host Millwall, and at the time of recording this gameplay on February 15th, Coventry actually played Millwall last night where they won 1-0 thanks to a second half goal from none other than Gyökeres. A funny story with that one, I sat through the entire Burnley vs Watford game on Sky Sports last night. A, not knowing the Coventry were also on Sky, and B, I completely forgot the PSG were playing Bayern Munich. Championship game wasn't too bad to be fair, with a very late equaliser from Obafemi and even a half-time goalkeeper sub from Kompany, so a decent watch in the end, but not really what I wanted to watch. But anyway, I would love to get all 3 points just like the Sky Blues did yesterday in real life, but we got off to a terrible start as Saville puts Millwall into the lead with 8 minutes gone. Millwall could smell blood and we really weren't at the races to start the game, and things went from bad to worse with 13 minutes gone as Gyökeres guides a shot past Ronin to make it 2-0. A disastrous start to the game when I was having a cow on the sidelines trying to get my players to wake up. But things couldn't get any worse, right? Wrong. We tried to play out from the back and Blackman loses possession. The ball is played to Afobe who's in space in the box, and thank goodness he doesn't connect with a shot, and it's straight down the throat to Ronin who's able to collect. I honestly couldn't believe how badly we'd started the game, and it took until the 41-minute mark to create any chances. Tavsan plays a sweet reverse pass to play on Gyökeres, and that's why he's the top scorer in the championship. He smashes it home across the keeper and into the top corner from a tight angle to get us back in the game just before half time. I have to give credit to Panzo for a brilliant ball across the floor into Tavsan to get the move going, as we head into the break feeling incredibly fortunate to only be down 2-1. I've got to be honest, I could have made 10 subs at half time, but I decided on 2 changes, with Palmer coming on for O'Hare who struggled in the first half, and Allen coming on for Sheaf in what had been a regular change for me in the last few games. But as we talk through the oncoming subs, I was not expecting the ref to do this. He gives Afobe a straight red for what I can only imagine he's seen as a dangerous challenge from behind on Hamer, and all of a sudden Millwall are down to 10 men and it's advantage Coventry. So after all my moaning in the press conferences about dirty challenges in the last few episodes, we've now had 2 in a row with the ref has sent a player off. Can't say I'm mad about that, but we had to make the most of it, and we look to do so immediately as Kim gets behind the defence and tries to bend it around the keeper, but he gets down to make the save. But Millwall had a chance of their own just past the 50-minute mark, and they play it to Vogelsammer, who swivels and smashes an effort from outside the box to make it 3-1 Millwall. That goal came from absolutely nowhere, and just like that we were looking at a 2-goal deficit again. But from kick-off I knew we had to be direct to take advantage of the extra man, and that's exactly what we did. Kim receives the ball over the top from Palmer and he skates away from McNamara. He swings across into Gyökeres who's given far too much space in the Millwall box, and he volleys it home near post to make it 3-2. Such a good finish from the informed Swede, and if I wanted any chance of getting a point from this game, I needed him big time. So as Millwall took kick off, we pressured them quickly, and the fresh legs of Allen robbed the ball from Fleming. He plays it to Kim, who sets off through the middle on one of his mazy runs, and Millwall are all at sea. He waits, plays in Palmer at the perfect moment, and cool as you like as he slots it past Truman to make it 3-3. 3 goals in the space of 12 minutes to begin the second half, and who said the championship isn't exciting? But the job wasn't done yet, and we still had time to make this right. But it was Millwall who came forward again. We half-heartedly clear the ball, but Millwall win it back, and Vogelslammer bends it around Ronin once again. The 10 men of Millwall just won't lie down, and it's 4-3 at the Den. Time for changes now as Ganelli and Edwards replace Tavsan and Rose, and it's Ganelli who gets involved immediately down the right as he retrieves the clearance from the Millwall defender. He finds Hamer advancing forward, who gets to the edge of the box and squares to Gyökeres, who unleashes a first-time effort, and it's 4-4. The Swedish international completes his hat-trick in one of the most dramatic games of the season, and there was still time for one more twist in the story. Kim goes on another run through the middle of the park, and I've missed him so much. He turns and spots the run of Palmer, plays a perfectly weighted pass through to the Jamaican international, but he tries to square it to Gyökeres instead of going for goal. But the ball is put out for a corner, and Hamer had the honours of swinging it in. It's aimed towards Gyökeres, who gets it well, and its header crashes off the bar with the goalkeeper beaten. Millwall eventually clear, and that's going to do it. Gyökeres picks up the match ball, but it could have been so much more as we failed to punish the 10 men of Millwall, and it's 4-4. So a disappointing result and another 4 goals conceded, but there's no time to feel sorry for ourselves as we're back at home in action against 23rd place Huddersfield, who are really struggling this season so far. This is a game we absolutely have to be winning with no excuses. So Burrows steps in for Bidwell and Edwards replaces Rose as we rotate the squad to stay sharp. I know the Championship isn't exactly famous for defending, but I'm extremely keen to make our home a fortress, because if we are lucky enough to be promoted to the Premier League, we absolutely cannot be conceding this many goals, because we'll be straight back down. But it's Huddersfield who had the first chance of the game as they work the ball down the left-hand side. Kamara plays a cute pass to Simpson, who checks and fires a left-footed shot towards goal, but Ronin is ready for it and Palmer's behind. A sloppy start to the game, but we finally got ourselves going 14 minutes in as Gyökeres paces forward. The Huddersfield backline had no structure at all, and Kim is away. He gets the ball under control in the box, and that's a brilliant finish past the onrushing keeper. So it's 1-0 to the Sky Blues, and the rest of the first half was really scrappy. No real chances falling to either side, but I don't mind that one bit as we are halfway to securing a much needed clean sheet. So no changes at the half as we get back underway, and it's Kim who's involved once again. He's so good at running at defenders through the middle and making them commit, and he passes to Gyökeres, who stabs a first time ball to O'Hare, who's through on goal, takes a few touches, and oh yes, he lifts it over the helpless keeper, and that's a glorious finish to make it 2-0. The second goal really shook Huddersfield, and momentum was all on our side just past the hour mark as Blackman finds himself in midfield and pings the ball over to Tavsan. The winger takes a lovely first touch and plays the ball across goal to Kim, who's denied a second with a fantastic point-blank save, but Gyökeres is there to clean up the mess and make it 3-0. I can't believe the keeper saved the first chance, so that would have been such a good goal, but we'll take the rebound goal, and that is surely game over now with Coventry completely dominating. But if you've ever heard the phrase, attack is the best form of defence, and that's definitely what we were going for in this one. Tavsan plays the ball over to O'Hare, who heads down to the big Swede, and he makes it 4-0 with a clinical finish in the bottom corner of the net, and that is just what we needed. So it's 4 goals, a clean sheet, and a dominant performance. No complaints from me as we head back to the office with a 6-point lead over second place Watford. But that's going to do it for another episode of FIFA 23 Career Mode on Pete's Dugout. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. If you did like it, then please do drop a like and consider subscribing. I'm still working on that outro, but I'll be back with another episode very soon.